We are live. There is our notification. See if anybody gets up in here. Easy and Sons, what's up? Let's put my glasses on so I'm going to squint. Dan Schmidt, what's up? Hey, I can see you now. Big Rich, Salty Pirate. Hey, finally got my live. Got me live. Yep. Oh man. So who's been working? Who's getting ready to go home? You're coming out to Missouri, Big Rich. Well, if you're coming from the south, we might cross paths. Did you find a load, Rich? Easy and Sons, you're working. Yeah, let's get that consensus here. We've only got 11 people in here, but that's fine. I would say it's early in the morning, but it's not unless you're on the West Coast. You dig the coffee mug? Yeah, the story with this coffee mug is there was a lady in my CDL class that she had money. I mean, she was only getting into trucking as a hobby, and she wanted the team with her husband, who worked for Yellow Roadway at that time. It was Yellow Roadway, and made stupid money over there. And she was just kind of like, you know, oh, it'd be fun to do, right? So, anyways, a whole bunch of us went into Peterbilt there in Springfield, and she bought everybody gifts, and that was mine. Was the coffee mug. So, Simpsonville, South Carolina, to Jackson, Missouri. Okay, I know where you're going, Big Rich. If you're going to the place I think you are, get a hold of me later, and I'll tell you how to get in there. Ricardo, what's up? And so this mug is like 10 years old. It's starting to fade on the, that used to be just a black, but the transfer thing is starting to fade a little bit. What's up, Light Bright? Daniel Nottingham, are you working? So that's the question of the day. If you're in the spot market, are you working? If you're dispatched or a company driver and you don't make percentage, it's a good time to be off. Looks new on camera. Yeah, it's pretty good shape. TK, what's up? Try to find a load, but India is bad today. That's weird, man. India is kind of a weird market. Wish I had another laptop here to kind of look at the hot market map on the DAP board there. Starting the day bad. My belt's broke at shipper stock. Oh no. 330 mile out. That's good. Cheap, and they want you to hold the loads. Okay, so that's the first thing let's talk about. So this year, 4th of July, which is a big American holiday, is in the middle of the week. So there's going to be a lot of freight that can't ship or receive on Wednesday. Unless you're delivering to a big box store, DC, example Walmart, Sam's, Target, that kind of thing, you're going to be hard pressed to find something. So what happens is there's a lot of like 500-mile loads that you pick up on today, and then don't deliver till Thursday. So you're or Friday. So you're under that load for an extra day. What TK says, I'm working through the 4th. What's more American than working on holidays? Now, you Schneider guys have to worry about that a little bit too. But you have an advantage with the drop and hook. There's a lot of loads that you can pick up and deliver that the factory may be closed, but the shipping office might be open, or the guard shack has all the paperwork. And they always keep the guard working no matter what holiday it is. So that was one of the advantages of when I went from Landstar to Schneider, was that I dealt with that a little bit less, as far as dealing with the holiday and the extra miles, or the lack of extra miles, and so forth. So when you're in the spot market, you want to negotiate those rates for that city. So if you call on a 500-mile load and they want you to sit on it an extra day because the factory may or may not be closed, then you sit. You have to negotiate that rate. Now here's the situation I ran into. Okay, yesterday morning, I told people that I was wanting to work this week. Um, I want to take advantage of the first time I'm working. Well, let me rephrase that. I want to take advantage of my first holiday that I can utilize the rates in the spot market. This is, I think we had Memorial Day, but holidays on a weekend, like on a Monday or Friday, aren't as effective as holidays during the week. When the holiday is in the middle of the week, it can really disrupt a lot of things. So here's my scenario. So yesterday morning, I'm looking at the low board, and I realize just by looking how fast things are disappearing that I'm gonna have to work fast. The rates are pretty good, but they're still going into some dead end areas. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to do a scenario where I go to a dead end area and then have to deadhead back, or go to the other scenario I was trying to avoid. Was like, there was a load going from Springfield to Champaign, right? And normally I take that load. However, with it delivering Tuesday afternoon, um, then that, if I didn't find anything Tuesday afternoon, then I was probably going to sit until Thursday. Didn't want to do that. If I'm going to be out there, I want to be making money. That's how I look at it. So so you're playing a fine line when you're looking at the low boards. You're like, okay, what can I grab that will maximize my profit, maximize my time, and not have to sit without making money. In other words, I don't want to be like in the middle of Atlanta, not be able to find anything because I'm stuck there for the 4th of July, that kind of thing. So I decided I was going to leave on Tuesday. So once I saw the Monday market kind of being not really stupid, but like really volatile, there was some good stuff, there was some bad stuff, there was a huge mix, and there was that usual Monday morning catch up that you see on the low boards, but there was also, you know, there wasn't any desperation with the brokers at this point, and that's when you make your money. When the brokers get desperate to move that freight, that's where you make your money. Okay. Most brokerages are agents that are working in an office. So a lot of them are going to be off for the 4th of July. So I'm talking like, well, I won't say names of brokers because I could be wrong, but the majority of them, the big, huge ones that you see that are on every low board, whatever, a lot of them are people in offices working 9 to 5, and they will go home for Wednesday. So you'll be hard pressed to find freight to book on Wednesday. Now, I could be wrong. This is my first 4th of July in the spot market. So the that's probably probably the broker emailing me my load's canceled. Let's check that out. Nope, just another broker that sends me their stuff every morning. So I spot the brokerage that I use to get out of here, and I look at their list, and I see what they've got posted on the board. I'm like, okay, now it's time to negotiate. I find something that I kind of like, where the times worked, and so I called on it. Or actually, I emailed her. Right, this is all email. So there was a load going from here to Georgia, 645 miles. Now the way I go, it comes around about 700. But when negotiate miles, you have to go by what they put, because that's how they're doing it. In other words, if the route you go is an extra 50 or 100 miles, you can't sit there and say, well, it's actually this, so I need this much more. You just put that in your rate to compensate for that. So before I even emailed this person, I came out to, let's get the calculator out of here. She had it listed at 645, so that's kind of how I did it. 645 miles. Time. Let's see what this is here. I quote her a price. $2,100 comes out to $325 a mile. Now, Big Rich talked about don't let them name the rate. And that's kind of what happened here. She did that. I said, hey, what are the details on this load? So she told me the pickup times, delivery times, where it was going in Georgia, the customer and everything. But then she named her rate, $1,400. And at this point, I'm not hopeful to get this load because my number was way higher. I started off at 2,100. Whenever you go to look at a load, you want to figure out your highest that you want to go and your lowest. If you go too high, they'll hang up on you. You can't be ridiculous. That's like if you go in the convenience store and you go, hey, how much for this can of Coke? Oh, $4. You're going to be like, where's your tap? So you got to keep it within range. Sometimes you can shoot stupid high and you'll get it, but the odds of that are pretty slim. But the holiday allows that scenario. So she emails back. The most I could do is 1,600. Now, mind you, the tools at my disposal said that the national average, the 15-day average, was at 1,750. So what I did is I took 1,750 divided by 645. That was $271 a mile. That wasn't good enough for me. Now, that should tell you something. If the 15-day average for this lane is $271 a mile, and the number she quoted me, 1,450 divided by 645, was 224, which 224 is a decent rate. 224 is what I usually average from this person, and I do a lot of their freight. And no, this I'm not talking about Transland. Their rates are some. They're like any other brokers. They got good rates, and they got rates that they know I won't touch. This is a different brokerage out of here. So if I'm going to work a holiday, I want above my average. I want, if I'm going to work and but I want to utilize my time too. So I'm not going to do like a 300-mile run and be stuck somewhere tomorrow with no load. So 1750, that's the average. That's the national average, 15-day average. We got to at least get there, right? So that became my new loan number. So I shot her. Let's see, someone texted me here. Oh, look at Jeff. That looks like I'll be making a phone call when this video is done. So, Jeffy, for watching, I appreciate that. So basically, at this point, I take a number, 1900, divide that by 645. That's 294 a mile. That's close to $3 a mile. I'm willing to do that, right? So I came back and said the absolute lowest I will go is 1900. And she was like, "We really want you on this lane. We enjoy your service. This is a gal that likes the fact that I give her check calls every step of the way. When I'm on my way to the shipper, when I arrive at shipper, when I depart shipper, and everything on the receiving side. I've always been good about sending her the lumper receipts, and there's always this communication. And here's the thing, guys. There's a lot of drivers that aren't giving good service out there. They really aren't. They fall on loads, they drop loads, the whole thing. And the thing that stands, because drivers are a dime a dozen to these brokers, right? But if you can give them exceptional service, and at the time that you need that money, they'll be more willing to put it in. If you're always shooting low, and all of a sudden you start wanting high rates, you're probably not going to get any work because they have a history of what you've done freight for. And sorry, guys, multitasking here. So the thing you have to remember is that there's a balance. You can shoot high and then somewhere in the middle. If they shoot low, you shoot high, you meet somewhere in the middle. Where is that middle? That's where you determine where your money is. That's exactly what I did. So she came back, says, "Hey, since you've done good service for us, and Like Trucking has done good service for us, and it is the holiday, 1925 is what I got it for. So that puts me right at 298 a mile at 645 miles. Let's see, is that right? 1925 divided by 645. Yep, comes out to 298 a mile. Now, let's drive in, and that's pretty much warehouse to warehouse. So you can't ask for that. Hey, Big Eddie, what's up? Steve, TJ, Food Mooch. And then, well, Archie, that's what I was just explaining. I'm working over the 4th. So Archie says, "What are you doing home? You're not going to make no money there." I leave out today. Actually, after this live feed, I'll start gathering my stuff. Actually, after this live feed, I'm going to call these 2 brokers that Jeff just sent me because they got freight coming back here. So the 15-day average can be a really good tool because I use that as leverage. I use two leverages here: the 15-day average, which she was way below, and then also the holiday. Okay, so go back to our calculator here. Now, she originally quoted me 1445. So take 1925 minus 1450. I would have left $475 on the table had I just taken her off. That's where you got to be educated. $475 is 1,000 miles worth of fuel. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of miles. So if you're averaging $2 a mile, that extra $475 could potentially make you another $2,000. See how that works? So that's where you got to utilize the tools that are given to you. You know, the 123 low board's got its tools, and the other low boards have their tools. And then the other tools that a lot of people don't realize, the necessary evil of social media, stuff like YouTube videos, Facebook pages. Facebook has several rate per mile pages, and if you could filter through all the BS, through all the arguments, through all the nonsense, through all the, don't do this, don't do that, because you're an idiot, that kind of thing, then, there are people that have some really positive and informative insight on those pages. So Big Yeti says his truck's back, is down again. I feel your pain, Big Yeti. I really do. Russ Maynard, what's up? How's the West Coast life treating you? So this is not going to be a long video, guys, because there's a couple of phone calls I got to make. But so that's the morning coffee spot market. So if you're on the low boards right now looking for that freight, you might have to do the 3 o'clock shuffle. What do you mean by the 3 o'clock shuffle, Steve? 3 o'clock shuffle is when you wait till the last minute and try to get that broker that's desperate to move something that has to move right then and there. You literally have to be at home with everything ready to go, or you could be on the road ready to go with a clean clock. And like I said, usually that Friday 3 o'clock shuffle can be very profitable because you got that broker who's trying to get rid of that load before they can go home, and they're desperate to get it moved. And I was having a conversation with Big Yeti about that. He told me about a really good load he did last weekend because of that same scenario. They were desperate to get it moved, and he got paid well to do it. Butch, what's up? Haven't seen you in a minute. So, but get that money, people. Like I said, you don't want to shoot. Every now and then you can shoot ridiculously high, see if they'll take it. But there's been times where I've shot pretty high, and then they're like quick to take it. I'm like, well, hell, I probably could have gotten more money out of that. There's always that doubt in my mind, like, man, could I have gotten more? But in this scenario, I knew I couldn't have got more. I was lucky to get, and that's the thing. Maybe with another broker, I could have gotten that money, that $2,100. However, this broker's negotiation skills might be, she might be a pro. Like, in other words, she shot so low that mentally it said, wow, I'm going to have to work a little bit to get her up to here. And that's a scenario that could happen, but it's a case of tug of war. It's a case of bartering. It's a case of, it's just like going to a yard sale. You want something, and you guys negotiate a price. It's the same thing. You're selling a service though. So if I'm doing all my check calls and giving this person updates, if anything that goes wrong, and I deliver on time and I give this broker exceptional service, that gives me another leverage. Leverage is what you need. You use the holiday, you use if you're going to a dead end area, use that as leverage. If you're going on a holiday, use that as leverage. Use the 15-day average as the leverage. Use the average on the 1, 2, 3 load board as the leverage. Any leverage that you can get to say, hey, this is why my rate is the way it is, you know, and then also a little bit of patience and the willing to say no. You got to find that fine line between, you don't want to work cheap, but you don't want to sit for 2 days because you can't find the rate that you're looking for either. Because if you're in a spot and you can't find a load that's, say, $3 a mile when you're in a market that maybe the average is only $1.80, then you need to take that $1.80 load and get back to the $3 a mile area. So it's a fine line. You don't want to move for $1 a mile. You might as well just head home at that point. If it's below your cost, just go home and take the hit on the fuel. Sometimes it's the attitude of the broker. Right, Jesse. Is the trade war affecting the amount of freight? No. There is, the Atlanta market right now is showing 10 loads per truck for one truck. Think about that. Even the soft markets, like I think I looked up the red market map, and the soft market was like Oklahoma, but I can definitely confirm that. And the west panhandle of Texas, and it was still like 5 loads to a truck. So that's the strange thing. Capacity is showing that everything's in our favor, but the brokers are holding on tight with that money. They're starting to let go of it a little bit. The national average keeps going up and up and up. I think DAT put out their blog that said it was at $2.36 a mile now. So, the rates coming out of, see, that's the thing, Archie. Archie Davenport says that's why it was so cheap last week by Atlanta. The rates that I saw coming out of Atlanta, which is kind of where I'm going, was higher than they are here. So that's why I chose that load. There was another load going to Ohio. I didn't like the times as much, but it was going to a better market, or so I thought, but the rates were about the same. So I chose the Atlanta one because it had a little bit more miles on it and a little bit more average on there. And I've got a couple of friends down there that can help me. Plus Jeff. Jeff is always looking out. He just texted me 3 loads. No, 1 load. And it's a Springfield broker. So, Jeff is always looking out for us. Always, 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 always. So he's probably like, man, get off live YouTube and go book that load. Which I need to. So we're going to keep this at 30 minutes here. You couldn't get anything for over $1.83 a mile last week, Archie? Johnny Sacco says, burn a lot of fuel and frustration driving through Atlanta, backups everywhere any time of day. However, the route that I'm going, Johnny, does not take me through Atlanta because I'm actually going to be west of Atlanta. So, but it's the Atlanta market that it's a part of. So that's where the numbers came in. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Right. And it's Music Trucker Bandit says it's not who you know or what you know, it's who you know. And that's true. If you have a good like I took a lot of risk coming over to like trucking by buying a trailer, getting away from the security blanket of the orange. And I did not hesitate. There was not one moment where like, well, am I making the right decision? No, I did not hesitate to go out there and pay 30 grand for a trailer because I knew that Jeff would take care of us. I knew that he would be reliable as far as like doing carrier packets and payments and everything else. It has been exactly as I expected, if not more. And you have a lot of people that are getting their authority and they're wanting to add drivers. And the drivers that you sign on have a lot of faith in your scenario. And Jeff realizes that. And scenario, that's not even a good word. Situation, I guess. And so Jeff has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. And so he's streamlined it and he's added gradually so he can learn through what works and what doesn't work. And then me coming in the beginning of this company, realize there's going to be hiccups, realize there's going to be, a few times that things aren't going to be perfect, which that hasn't even happened yet. But 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 I realized the growing pains that we're going to go through, and with having a friendship with Jeff and knowing what the industry's like, because I've got a little bit of experience, it's I'm willing to take the hiccups if and when they come along. That's part of if you're coming to a person that's starting their authority and starting to add trucks, you got to have a lot of patience because there's going to be hiccups. There's going to be situations that aren't ideal, and there's a lot of faith in me investing my equipment. Now, on the other hand, though, I took myself and said, okay, what is the worst case scenario? Okay. The worst case scenario is I could put the trailer in a parking lot and I go back to the Big Orange because I made my money there. Second worst case scenario, I go back to Landstar with my own trailer and make a higher percentage than what I was doing with Landstar before. So there are plans A, B, and C, and I had those in mind when I came over here, but it's been great, and so to have the faith in the person that's got the numbers, that takes a lot, you know. Russ Maynard, see you at Gats again. That's the plan, Russ. I'm a firm believer that if I do hire drivers, they need to be treated better than I treat myself. That's it, Russ. That was one of the things that when I became an owner operator, my wife said that if we start adding trucks, I started hiring drivers, that she said I would make a great trucker boss because she knew that I would treat people with respect. So, and the little bit of knowledge I do have, I can kind of keep them out of situations. So, good morning, Brent. Archie says, in my opinion, Jeff's a smart man. Anyone that goes with him is going to go far in this profession. Johnny Sacco, like an Ike. What are you asking? Is Ike Stevens coming to like trucking? No, I'll squash that rumor right now. That rumor was started, I believe, because Truckers Coach did a video, and one of the four choices was someone with their new authority, and Jeff falls under that category. But here's the other thing that Jeff has streamlined. Okay. In order to come to Like Trucking, you have to have your own truck, your own plate for that truck, and the ability to get your own trailer. He does not have lease trucks. I don't know if that's in the future. I'll let Jeff speak on that. So it's a good effort. It's an effort to be able to get to the point where you have your own truck and your own plate. Getting your own plate is not the easiest thing to do. Okay. And like you Schneider Finance guys, okay, let's say you got a Schneider Finance truck, right? To get your own plate, you have to jump through the hoops. And they make it extremely hard to get your own authority. They make it extremely hard now and expensive to move your truck. The days of moving your truck, Schneider Finance truck, to another carrier for $300, those are over. They're now charging a huge deposit because guys are moving to other companies and they're defaulting on their loans, on their truck payments. So as I went through my owner operator, the first thing I did was got my own truck. I didn't go through a lease purchase. There was a lot of reasons why. If that's the route you have to take, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I understand. I know people are doing very well with Schneider Finance trucks. However, if Landstar was to get rid of me, that was my first company I signed on to, then I had this truck, for me. Now, that puts a lot of pressure because the bank can take away the truck if I'm not making any money. But it's not like if you're a lease operator for another company and you can only have that truck at that company, say a company like Prime or Trans Am or something like that, and suddenly you don't have a job anymore. Well, then you lose your truck too, and all the money you invested in that truck. And I wanted to avoid that pitfall. Where Schneider Finance, if Schneider gets rid of you, you can keep your Schneider Finance truck. It's just going to cost you. So I did that for close to 3 years. And then I decided to get my own plate. Because getting your own plate, no matter who you're signed on with, is a good idea. There's some companies that don't allow you to have your own plate. And there you're flirting with disaster a little bit, because if something happens and they take the plate right then and there, you're stuck. Let's say you show up at a terminal and they're like, hey, by the way, you're fired, turn in all your stuff. How are you going to move the truck? Legally you can't move that truck. So that was the second thing I wanted. So that was the second step. And that was going to happen whether I moved from Schneider or not. And then once I got that, once we were good there, then I went and got the trailer. So Ringo says it's nice to see an owner more concerned with the revenue of his contractors, drivers, and his own. That's very true. He wants us all to succeed. So I don't have to pick up till 1 o'clock today, so I'm going to utilize that time to look at the loads that Jeff has sent me. Also to possibly book something, leaving out the 6. So, and my coffee's almost done. But to make this summarized, working the spot market to me is the best way to be in this industry. right now. Now, if rates hit rock bottom, you have to be able to know how to survive. Anybody with a trucking company with a truck can survive with these kind of rates, unless you're just completely stupid with money. There's a lot of risk. Like, what Jeff does, he takes a lot of risk. If any of us gets tickets, he's going to get a hit. If any of us have any accidents, he's going to take a hit. It's a huge risk for an authority owner, whether you got one truck or 10 trucks or 100 trucks. That's why Schneider is so micromanaging, because they're the ones taking all the risk. So therefore, they don't even want you hurting your feet. That's why you have to wear steel toe boots, right? So I respect that about Jeff. So I drive respectively. I don't put myself in situations that could potentially be disastrous for me. Or if I do, I'm extremely careful. And it's not because I'm afraid of losing my job. It's because I don't want to do that to Jeff. Now, there are some situations that you can't help. And that's where, if you got to take a hit, that's where you have to take the hit, where you have no control. So it's hopefully isn't as bad. And always have plans B, C, and D. Jeff has been great to work for. And I really don't, I look at him as a boss. I respect him as a boss, but I also look at him as a partner. And he looks at us like partners. And it enables me the freedom that a lot of other carriers you don't have. There are some spot market carriers where you have to run the rate con through their dispatcher before anything can be done, and that could cause a delay. We are in control of that. So he trusts us, because it would. I remember one time I was on my way to Henderson, Kentucky, and I guess he didn't get the rate con in the email, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Going to Kentucky. I thought you knew that." And then, I resent him the rate con, but he thought I was trying to do a load. He didn't probably think I was trying to do a load without him, but, potential that's there. But he trusts us to make these decisions and to make the right decisions on everything else. So we have complete control of our business. We can control our revenue. We can control where we're going. We control who we book with. And, the only thing that is a no is what the funding company won't, the factoring company won't factor, and that's it. So the success of like drivers will make the company successful, right? It's not that easy to get on here. Have you guys noticed that all of our contractors are ex-Schneider guys? Because Jeff, this is the circle of people that Jeff knows. And like I said, he's taken all the risk. And, we're grateful for that. Bandit says I'd rent and never buy a trailer. Well, that's more difficult than you think it is. Those extra lease trailers, you got to have an authority that's got at least 3 trucks. The authority has to pay for that trailer. So if you got your own authority, but you don't have 3 trucks, you can't even get those. And they're expensive too. There are some, because I have a friend of mine that was looking at trying to rent a trailer, and it was extremely difficult and expensive. He said there was one that wanted like $7,000, like as a deposit. Easy to buy a trailer, no money down. How can you refuse buying? Well, on the same token, no money down, you're going to pay for it in the financing, Johnny. And then the other part is you're going to be hard pressed to find a dealership that has a trailer in stock right now. Dry vans are going out or flying out the window because everybody's joining the spot market. Everybody's buying and leasing trailers. You know, there are some brokers that like want you to have drop trailers, and you can make some good money doing that kind of stuff. There are contracts that say, hey, if you buy 5 trailers, we'll have all this freight, and you can just drop and hook everything and keep moving. So, you know, and then you got the mega carriers that are switching all their trailers. You know, Schneider's got a bunch of brand new trailers right now. So, you know, just finding one that's good to go, you know, that's a challenge in and of itself. So, and the rental places know that. They know that they know. See, here's the thing: it's leverage again. If you're going to rent a trailer, they know there's a reason. Either A, you don't want to buy one; B, you can't find one; or C, yours is down. And so they got you, and they can charge whatever they want. So, anyways, I gotta go, guys. I got business to tend to. This has been a good talk. Maybe I'll leave this one up. We'll see. But take it easy, and you know, if you're out there working, be safe. Everybody's gonna be driving like lunatics, and you know, not paying attention. A lot of people on the interstate that normally aren't. They're distracted with either alcohol or their kids screaming at them, or the fact they drive the interstate once or twice a year. And if you're off, enjoy your home time. These are precious moments with the family. Don't blow your fingers up, and you know, do it legally. So, guys, take it easy, and we'll see you next time.